Hey everyone, it's Nancy, the nurse practitioner here from Caregiver Success. I have a wonderful guest on with us today, somebody I met when I went down with my sister, Pat, who had a daughter who actually died of addiction back in January. And interesting how we get put on these paths. And we landed up bringing all of Mandy's belongings to this wonderful place called the MirIAM Treasures, and which is a resale building for clothes for people in the community in need and that want to buy them, and for also a whole population of women who are going through recovery. And in that, I met this wonderful woman, Tami Thomas, who had started this program. So Tami, I'm introducing you to the world, to the public. Tell us about you and your story that led you to the MirIAM Treasures, if you can.
Okay, it's a long one, so I'll make it short as I can. I was trying to figure out what an old cop would do at that point, and I was doing a lot of praying and fasting, and just kind of where do I fit in now? 55, and what's next? Of course, I was hoping it was 2 palm trees and a hammock and visiting babies, grandbabies, but that, yeah. So I felt I was being led to open up a rehab for women that were struggling with drugs and alcohol addiction. My last assignment as a detective was drug diversion. So I had a front row seat seeing the girls, the women just over and over getting in trouble with drugs and making bad choices. And there's just a lot going on, and there wasn't a whole lot of resources for women long term. So
Where do you live? Can I ask you that? Where do you live? Tell everybody.
We live in Carteret County, North Carolina, and the town is Moorhead City.
Just so they kind of know what part of the world you're from, that's all.
Yeah, little bitty coastal county. And we have a wonderful sheriff that that knows and is very aware of the drug problem here. And he is, along with other local government officials, are trying to do something about it, because it's just the fentanyl, the heroin, it sounds like cocaine's making a round trip around back. It's bad, and I know it's bad all over, but I don't live all over. I live here. And I just wanted to do something where I could do something. I just can't sit by and watch people dying and families being busted up, kids going to foster care, women going to jail. Even though they broke, even if they broke the law and they made a bad choice, I just didn't feel like they should pay for it with their lives if they wanted to get help. Keynote, if they want the help. So I retired and started, along with a small army. It's not just me, other people that believed in the vision that I believe I received, to open up the MirIAM, and on a small scale. And we did. In June, I think we took 2 years to get the paperwork right and all the bylaws and everything straight for the board, get a board, learn all that. And then probably by January 6, 2017, the first girl walks in the door. I was petrified, but that was a long time ago, and I've learned a lot. We've all learned a lot since then. But
can I ask you, but can I interrupt you for a second? Did the group of the women start before the resale store, before we go into that?
No.
Or?
Well, I didn't. Everybody, it just felt like it was, everybody had used clothes and used furniture, and it was an easier way to collect money. I'm not good at going and asking for money, certainly not for myself, but I have found it easier that I'm asking for other people, not for me. And coming from a different world, it's been taking me a while to get used to that. However, but it was not for me. It was for these girls who came in without insurance cards, who came in without credit cards and money. Their support system had depleted because of the things they've done throughout the years. And so it was really not hard to go and ask for money for these women. And then, and and get these women involved and other women. There's so many people that have kids that are in addiction. There's so many people that have had children that have passed because of overdoses or complications from addiction.
Yeah.
Just so many, and I couldn't stand around and watch this. I mean,
So tell us about it's called the MirIAM Treasures, everyone. It's I did do another video with her store when I went in with Mandy's belongings 3 weeks ago. And the store is so cool. So you have to see that video, by the way. But in addition, it's called MirIAM Treasures. How'd you get the name MirIAM? Who's MirIAM?
hey, the MirIAM is for the overall project. We just call the store the MirIAM's Treasures, but the MirIAM, I felt led to call it the MirIAM, and I did some research, and MirIAM was Aaron's and Moses's older sister, and she was a natural leader of women back in the day. And she not only was she a natural leader, but she also sang. And there's some believe that she sang the first praise song to God called the MirIAM song. And then she loved God, and God loved her, of course. And she got in trouble for gossiping about Moses's wife, and God struck her with leprosy for 7 days, but she got over it, and life went on. But I just felt like back in those days, there weren't too many women leading, and I just felt, and I was led to name it the MirIAM.
And I like how you spell it. The MirIAM is M-I-R,
Yeah,
and big I am. And if
yeah,
anybody knows the I am.
that's name it. And I said, I think we're supposed to call it the MirIAM. And by mistake, I had capitalized the 3 last letters, the I, the A, and M. And she said, that is so cool, that you're going to reference God like that. And I looked back, I was like, yes, it is, so it just stuck, it's just meant to be.
So then the store began and people started bringing their items, which brought some money in. And then you developed the 501c
It was
plan.
already developed, yeah. By the
Okay.
time the store's there, we're already solid with all that.
Okay.
And then we went in. I didn't have a building and stuff like that, so we were able to find a local church that was able to take us in. And man, what a blessing. I mean,
Yeah.
they supplied our every need. It was just a really great time, and we grew there, and other churches got on board, and it's just been fascinating to watch the churches, because everybody's having this, everybody is experiencing this.
Well, the thing is, if somebody starts the wheel, why reinvent it? Let's all network together and solve the problems together. And like you said, every organization has been touched by this. So why not come together and form a community, a strong one? So tell us about your program for the women and what it involves.
Okay. Well, we're of course Christian based, so they're gonna hear a lot about Jesus. And I tell those on the phone when they call me to ask about it, I let them know as much as I can so they can know if they'll be a good fit for us and if we're a good fit for them. And I tell them we don't smoke cigarettes. If we're just not going to do that. We don't do Suboxone nor methadone. And they stay with us for at least 6 months. It's a long-term residential, so they stay with us night and day.
Where do they stay? I'm sorry, where do they stay with you?
Well, we have a house in Moorhead.
Okay.
So we and there's always a staff member that's over the girls. We don't leave them alone. And they have a steady course of classes that they go to. They report to the school, which is usually is the church, and we're looking at purchasing our own property. I can talk to you about that later if you'd like. But they have classes, and the classes that they go to are things like they do Celebrate Recovery, which is a Christian form of 12 steps. They do fitnesses with a couple of the teachers, and we even have sewing in there. They've been known to do projects with the Christian cheer box for the children, the shoe boxes that they send off overseas, and they make hair bows and blankets and stuff. We have a lady that helps them orchestrate that and put that together. We have they sing. We have a couple of singing music classes, and they do a class that the judges require around here is called MRT, which is morale recognition therapy, and it's just learning and teaching them how to make better choices and what to do with these better choices. We have classes, grief share, because at this point there's always someone that has lost someone. So we've implemented grief share into this so they can deal with, learn how to live with their loss of family and other friends.
By the way,
really,
my sister Pat has gone to 2 of your classes, and she says some of the stories she can't believe are even worse than hers. And it's amazing. Not that's important, but it's like by sharing your life, you're like, you think you're done, you're over with, and things were so bad. And then you're like, oh my gosh, some people have it worse than you. She's getting a lot out of it. By the way, we're trying to get her husband to come with her. I'm working on him.
yes. Yeah. We have, let's see, I'm going down the line. Digital literacy. We have a partnership with the local community college, and we are able to use some of their laptops, and their teachers come over and teach them digital literacy, like, how to use the computer, Excel and Word and all that stuff on the computer. And some of them never had this before, and some of them it's good to have a refresher course. Boundaries. We have all kinds of classes that teach them how to stay away when they're making the decisions, how not to fall back into the old ways, and what's the new way look like, and not to be so scared because others have done it. We have relapse class that's usually taught by a graduate, so they're standing in front of them showing them, look, I sat in those seats too, here's where I'm at, and this is, it does work. I have a lady that sits on my board as a board member that's come through the program, so she's kind of my voice of reasoning. When I come up with some crazy ideas, she usually says, I don't think that's going to work. And then we have people that have graduated and come back and teach and work in other areas.
What
so
about isn't there a peer related group?
Yes,
about that.
You go through the peer support class, and so they got that certificate, and they're just finishing up their 20 hours so they can get their final certificate. And it's anything I can think of, or anything that anybody else can think of that's helping these ladies get out from where they were. And, if they come in as, say they come in as nurses, they may not be able to go back to nursing, because of their addiction. Teachers, nurses, there's all kinds of areas of employment.
Do you help them find other vocations? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I gotcha. Wow. And can I ask you one more question? I'm sorry, I should have asked you this in the beginning, but if they're willing to come through your program, this is something that is court ordered, right?
Some of them are, not all of it, because
Okay.
I don't want to get everybody in here that's court ordered and then have that mentality going throughout the house. I kind of want it to kind of have a different, everybody coming from different angles. Yeah. And so it doesn't, yeah.
How did they find you to come to this program?
That's the funny part about it, because we don't use a whole lot of money advertising, because I want to put it on the women. Word of mouth. I was in law enforcement, so there's a lot of that going. There's a lot of folks that are 3 and 4 and 5 counties out that know what I'm doing, has heard about what I was doing, and has sent girls and has seen the results. And once you have a history of someone like, she went through there and she's doing great, and they're not all success stories. I'm not going to sit here and say that, but we try. And and it's not us, it's the Lord. And when he gets a hold of them, we just have a place where he can do his thing. That's all.
And that's so wonderful. Now, how old are the women that come to your program?
They range from 19 to almost 70.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I met a few the other day, and that they were wonderful, that they spoke on the video. So everybody should definitely check that video out if they can. So moving forward, I know you have some future programs coming up, right?
Yes.
What's your thoughts in the future, Tami?
I'm excited because we have We have made an offer on a campus, and hopefully soon we'll be moving and starting our own things and stuff. And it will. I'm excited about it. This is going to be a big step for us, and we'll be able to do some things that we weren't able to do on up to this point.
So that means you're going to need furniture for bedrooms, right? Can you tell me more about, not telling me everything, but those women are fed, right?
Oh yeah.
They
Oh
sleep
yeah.
overnight.
Yes.
They
Yes.
take showers. They need soap and shampoo. And do they bring all their own? I mean, just how does this all unravel for each person as
When
they
I interview the girls on the phone, I tell them that, and I'm just going to be very frank with you because
Yep.
that works best for me. There's no foo-foo here.
Yep.
When I talk to the women, I have to make a quick decision. I have to listen to hear what she's not telling me, what she is telling me. Is she a good fix? Am I going to, is her being here going to mess up what we already have going? Is she going to be a healthy, addition? Or is this going to send everybody reeling, and I have to really, pray about it and make a good call on that. And if, and a lot of times, even you can't even look at their history because sometimes women have never been to a rehab and they're not a good fit here. Sometimes the women have been to 8 or 9 rehabs and you would think, what's the difference? Are you really ready to change? And it's just, you just have to talk to her and pray about it. And I've made some, I've I've made some mistakes in some of the ones that I have. You're interviewing these ladies, you have to understand that, you have to, there's certain things that I need to hear in our conversation. And I'm not a huge facility. We're a small home environment. We don't have doctors running around in lab coats and therapists all over the place. But so we have to be careful because if, there's too many mental diagnoses and stuff like that, we may not be the place where she needs to go. And so sending her here and she needs another place is not helping her.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to show them this gorgeous brochure. Is there something else you want to say, Tami, before I this, or
I just want you to know that I get to volunteer at the MirIAM. I get to watch these women change. I get to see what God does with these women. It is a privilege to have a front row seat to this, because the change and the aha moments that they have, and the hey, it's the best I've ever seen. And I'm so grateful for the ladies that have come through here and trusted us with their lives, because they stay with us for at least 6 months. And I'm so grateful. And we're always looking for volunteers. Yes, we're in Morehead City, on the coast in North Carolina, and we don't have a whole lot of money, but we have a whole lot of heart. And as long as God wants us to do this, and the girls are continuing to get help and get back on their feet, and their families return, their marriages restored, their communities put back together.
Amazing.
That's what we're doing it for.
It's a blessing. I think it's incredible. I don't know what other people in other parts of the world or country are doing, but like I said, why reinvent the wheel? We need to take a program that's working and see where it's going and how we can do that in our own communities. I know there's a lot of places where people already bring clothes and stuff, but if that's a way of bringing money in to run the actual help feed the girls and stuff, or whatever else you need to help them, that's an amazing way of moving it through. I do have to show you guys this brochure. It's like incredible. This picture of the woman's face with the crack through it. I mean, she's a beautiful girl. She's had a life. Things were great. And then drugs took her over and just put a crack in her whole world. And I love the way it's written. I know you have another future program coming up, but I did share this for everybody on my Facebook page and also caregiversuccess.com. So you could take a look at that on Facebook. And it shows the MirIAM farm. It talks about the treasure store, and there's a MirIAM detox program that you're working on, right?
Yes, there are a couple of projects in the future that we hope once we get further down the road I'd like to see, and they're working on a detox in the county now, but it was always one of the things that we really seriously need. Every county needs one, and maybe not even just one. It's just this program, we are still we haven't reached the peak of these fentanyl overdose. We are still right there in the middle of it. It's not decreased. It's not going away. We don't see any headway right now. You
Right.
know, I wish we did. I pray we do. I hope that I work myself out of a job. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But right now we're
Yeah.
still in the trenches and they're still dying. They're dropping every day. And it's not pleasant work. It's not pretty talk, but sometimes it needs to be real talk so people can get something done.
It's
So yeah, we need volunteers, we need donations, we need whatever you feel, whatever the Lord's leading on your heart. Call me, email me.
Okay, so how do we get a hold of you, Tami? How do we get a hold of you?
Well, we have a website and it's themiriam.org. I have a email address, which is themiriamwomen@gmail.com. And my phone number, 252-725-3030. 252-725-3030.
By the way, everyone, just so you know, I'll be putting this up on my YouTube channel in the description. So please look it up and I'll try to put it on the screen as well later. But you know, this is where you get your ideas to maybe build your own programs. Think of a 501c, right? Is it a 501c3? This is doable. It's a lot of work. I know what it's like because I've started my own businesses and my own things, and getting the whole community involved is you have to do it. You can't do it yourself. You can't. Well, this was so wonderful. We have more videos to come on this subject as we go. And I just wanted to say thanks for joining us here on Caregiver Success with Tami Thomas, facilitator.
Yeah.
God
owns it.
That's so true. And we'll see you at the next video. Please subscribe to my channel, Caregiver Success, and we'll see you soon, everyone. God bless. Take care.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tami. Talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.